Legend of Total War here, and today we've got a bit of a hybrid video. It was submitted as a disaster battle, but this can also be turned into a rating in Doomstack video. So we've got 17 units of Slaughter Brutes. They're not maxed out. There's a fair bit more that you can do to improve them, but this is a good enough test. So we're going up against the Disciples of Hashut, and they are bringing more than 3 full stacks against us. I think this is an appropriate test. So, everything's on max battle difficulty. There's no banners or anything to use. Let's jump in here, and I'll read out the email. So he says, "Hi Legend, maybe interesting video. I have initiated a battle wanting to test out a potential Doomstack, but I might have chewed off more than I can handle, and no matter how I go about this fight, they eventually just wear the brutes down and lose. Maybe your macro skill can pull out a victory." Okay, I do like the fact that he called it macro skill, because he's right. I don't need micro skill for this. Not that I don't have micro skill, I'm just saying we don't need it for this, because it's a very simple Doomstack. Very powerful and probably very expensive, but doesn't require me to do a lot of micromanaging. Now, this unit here is, or this hero, is too low level, so I'm going to keep it out of the way. So I'm going to make a promise to you guys in this battle here. Not only will I win this battle, but no Slaughter Brute will die this day. We'll take zero casualties. So the guy said, couldn't even win the battle. I'm not worried at all. And I think it's largely due to the tactics he was using. I reckon what he did was, set up, actually I'll just set this up again, set this up as a line and just like charged in like this. Now when using single entity monsters like this, you might think you want to pin down all the archers as much as possible, but that is a great way to get all of these Slaughter Brutes killed, because the biggest weakness that a big old monster like this, with really high stats, is actually going to be its big old fat ass, right? Look at them big old muscular glutes. Right? And what I mean by that, and this is to any single entity monster, is that its area of effect, it's like zone of area, surface area, that's what I'm trying to think of, around here, allows for multiple units of infantry to basically smack that ass. Just hit it all the way here. Now, any unit that's hitting it up in them butts is going to be able to bypass a lot of that melee defense. But, B-U-T-T, if we fight in such a way that our backside is protected, because, if you're a Khorne worshipper, you've got to protect your ass. I mean, you're dealing with Slaanesh all the time, right? So what you want to be doing is actually, the theory in this is actually the phalanx formation, in that your brother behind, to your side, protects you. So what we do here is we form a blob where just a few units in the back are facing behind them, like this. And that way, you know what? We have absolutely no flanking ability there. Nothing can flank us. Just put them in the middle. And then, I don't want them in locked control group actually. And then what we do is just alt drag over this way. We want to be fighting in the forest. Now here's another thing to consider, is that, yeah, we will take a stat debuff in the forest, but that stat debuff is insignificant because our melee attack is way higher than what we need it to be, because their melee defense is nothing. It's just not going to matter, really. So suffering 20% melee attack loss, not that big of a deal. But in the forest here, it's going to block a lot of those missiles. It's going to provide more than 20% missile block chance, essentially. Also, they've got a lot of monsters. Their monsters will be debuffed. But here's another thing. When you fight in a blob like this, the enemy AI, when using a lot of missile units, has a tendency of being unable to target you properly. And what they'll end up doing is rather than keeping their distance and trying to shoot you, they will try to send as many units as they possibly can to try to pin you down, including their own missile units. And what they may end up doing, because you're taking up such a small amount of surface area, is those archers that are not given that order will end up standing on top of each other, being disabled from shooting. So what we want to do here, come into the forest. Okay, they've got the high ground. But don't worry, they're going to die. So those guys over there, no big deal. Let's go take them out. Because they're isolated. Sick, move them butts. Those big muscular glutes, move them. So I think we're the attacker in the scenario here, so they're not going to come at us. Okay, so we've taken that out basically for free. Because, yeah, we've got no means of dishing out any magic damage or missile damage. Alright, now what we need to do is try to get them to be drawn into the forest, which is not difficult to do. We just present ourselves fairly close and they'll probably charge at us. Turn back around, present our butts just briefly. Gotta lure them Slaneshis in. Then turn around to fight them. Because if we fight at the edge of the forest here, then their arrows are not going to be blocked by as many trees. But you can see here how many of the arrows are totally blocked by trees. At the end of this battle, we really do need to check to see how much damage their missile units actually did. Now, if we have a look at these Bull Centaur great weapons, so they've done 2,400 damage, which they probably did that right on the charge. Now, because we're in a tight formation here, they're completely unable to hit that ass, and most of these units will be constantly stuck in a stun lock animation as we continue to hit them. Got Astrogoth over here. We're starting to spread out a little bit, but as long as we ain't spreading those cheeks, should be fine. So this will help us mitigate the melee attack damage loss from being fighting in here. So if we have a look at the Bull Centaur render, this is a really good unit, and it must not be attached to Astrogoth's army. It has done some damage, like 4,000 damage is not insignificant, but that's one of their best units against us here. So we can see here, look, they've sent in Infernal... Okay, those are kind of melee infantry. They just have a secondary missile attack. Definitely want to be taking out Astrogoth. The amount of damage that's been inflicted on us so far is pretty minimal. Okay, that guy there's getting a bit surrounded. So Bull Centaur renders as a different unit. Astrogoth has done already quite a lot of damage. We need to focus on him. So we're not doing anything to him. Having just a one-on-one duel is not ideal because, yeah, his combat stats are very good. He's a very high melee defense. So yeah, when we all just gang up on him, he's unable to inflict much damage because he is getting pinned down. So Infernal Guard Fireglaives coming into melee there, having not shot a single round. Why? They can just stand over here and easily reach us. But like I said, when you get into a blob like this, the AI just has a tendency of sending their units into melee. I don't know why. There are quite a lot of dangerous units in the enemy army here, for sure. Try to keep our guys as close together as possible. Also need to keep refreshing their attacks, otherwise to forget about it. Astrogoth has no longer been able to inflict loads of damage because he's constantly getting stun locked now. You know, he got all that damage inflicted really quickly on us because he was having a one-on-one duel. This is why you want to be fighting back to back. But we are badly outnumbered, but we're not outpowered. Also, if you can hear, it's playing Chaos Dwarf music, so the bounce power on the battlefield right now is technically in their favor. And they still have more than a full stack coming in as reinforcements. Astrogoth is getting fucked. Non-Slaneshi style. I mean, I know the Chaos Dwarfs aren't Slaneshi worshippers, but still. Yeah, he wasn't able to get a single hit in. After that, okay, I only need one of you to go chase him down. Okay, this one here is starting to take a fair bit of damage. Getting too spread out. You're spreading them cheeks. Get them all together. Get them all together. Where are you? Okay, good. Astrogoth gone. Alright. Alright. I made a promise that I wouldn't lose a single one of these guys, so let's pull this one out. And let's just move it to relative safety. You see what happens when they get isolated. It was also fighting, I think, the remnants of the Bull Centaur. Yeah, the Bull Centaur renders there. You just go fight the dregs out that way. Okay, now what we want to be doing is actually pushing uphill to try to stand on this reinforcement location. The reason for that is so that when they rout, which they inevitably will, they don't get a chance to rally. They just get them off the battlefield. So I still want to use this one, just taking out easy targets for it. Making sure that nothing sort of rallies out this way. So we're fighting uphill. Get out of the forest now. Yep, and let's push our way uphill. Most of their most dangerous monsters have now been dealt with. Missile units. So the Hobgoblin Wolf Raiders, they're not doing any serious damage. Like I said, fight as a single unit. Protect them glutes. Okay, that one is stripping away our magic attacks, but we have to wait for it to actually land. But once it does, it should not be a problem for us. Especially now that we're out of the forest. Yeah, he's fine. Because yeah, if you decrease the amount of surface area that an enemy can attack you from, then it's effectively increasing your melee defense. Well, with these guys here, it's not really reducing our damage output unless there's like someone in the middle that's just not fighting anyone, but they usually toss everyone around. So there's usually like a couple of infantry units stuck in the middle in constant stun lock, so they're not doing anything dangerous to us. So we're fighting downhill here and uphill here. Okay, this one is now taking a fair bit of damage. Let's move it over to there. So Chaos Dwarf Blunderbusters having only dished out 500 damage. Like I said, they're just having a hard time targeting us. Despite our size. Alright, time to come back up here. We don't have to worry about keeping our lords near them. It's just that I want these guys to fight as well. I didn't want this one to fight because they tend to be quite squishy, and I would have used it if it was on its Blood Shrine mount. Which it isn't, because it's low level. So, still trying to get... Why are you literally in the most amount of danger there? Got another one over here that I think could use easier targets for a little bit. Good. Those did a fair bit of damage. Yeah, Bull Centaurs are really good units. Come on, finish him off. Not the Slaaneshi way, by the way. Okay, and yeah, get these. Just go fight off the guys that just dregs. Okay, so yeah, fighting up here, when they rout, they just leave the battlefield straight away. They don't get a chance to rally. Because that's what all of these ones are. These are the ones that are broken and coming at us from weird angles. And there's the army losses. A fairly early army losses because they've still got a lot of bounce power left to throw at us. Just the Hell Cannon left, I guess. Like I said, no loss of any units. Despite a pretty a lot of strong units. There's a lot of trash units in there as well, but that's usually the case. It's very rare that the enemy forces will be entirely Doomstack units. It does happen, but it's rare. Like I said, fighting as a single unit with these guys here, as opposed to individuals, you can end up doing just so much better. And also, it really allows you to pull out units that are in a lot of danger a lot better. Whereas if there was like fighting all over the place, if one area of fighting it's not going so well, how are you supposed to pull it back? Who are you going to send to reinforce that position? You can't send anyone because everyone's pinned down. So we'll have a look at how much damage some of their missile units did to us, because that would have been, theoretically, the biggest weakness of being in a blob is getting shot. But yeah, for some reason the AI is like, oh, there's a big target, better go into melee, you know? I don't know. You know, and if the AI ever changes, obviously we'll change our tactics, but while they're still doing this, why not? So let's have a look here. So damage on some of our guys in the 15s to 20,000s. Anyone got to 30,000? Almost. 300 kills on you. But yeah, nobody dished out less than 10,000 damage. Alright, so we're looking at units like... Yeah, well, don't expect too much from Hobgoblin Archers, but what we're looking for are the... Yeah, Infernal Guard Fireglaives. So they probably did that much damage in melee, because I don't think they even shot anything. Blunderbuss is 1,000 damage, 270 damage. Yeah, the single entity monsters, they did alright. Astrogoth did 5,000 damage. So these ones here, they have 9,800 health. So did any of their units manage to inflict 9,000 damage? Had some Chaos Warriors in this, so they've obviously got an alliance building there. This army here wasn't doing anything. Nothing, because they routed straight away. These ones didn't even get a chance to get used. And I think those are great weapons, so they would have been anti-large. Cool. Now, this wasn't submitted as a rate your Doomstack, it was submitted as a disaster battle. I showed him the macro skills, basically. But this cheese, it's AI abuse. Whatever, just whatever. Don't do it if you don't want to do it. So, let's rate this as well, because honestly, even if someone maxes out this Doomstack, it's just going to increase numbers that don't really matter that much in the grand scheme of things. Let me just have a look through here. So, what would this have provided? A bit of extra melee attack and weapon strength. I don't think that was a problem for the battle. And then, let's see, I think it's freakish mutations. Yeah, there it is. That provides extra ward save. That would definitely be very good. Extra melee attack, and leadership is irrelevant since they are unbreakable. Do they possibly have 2 loads of this? No. There's some units that do. For example, Pink Horrors for the Warriors of Chaos. I think they've got 2 of these, and 2 of these that they can upgrade. It's rare, but I just want to check it. I don't think there's anything in here that would have made those units any better. So yeah, basically could have given them 5% extra ward save. Wouldn't have made that big of a difference, but it's better than nothing. In terms of rating it, this is an army that you would get in the very late stages of the campaign, because you need to get to tier 5 in order to be able to recruit them, because they're all the way over here. Now, you can get to tier 5 fairly quickly playing as Khorne, which is why he's got it already on turn 67, which for a Khorne campaign, that's fairly late these days, I guess. Just because of all the bullshit that Khorne is able to do now, it's absolutely nuts. That being said, Khorne has always been able to, since the beginning of Warhammer 3, just have an absolutely nuts campaign. So yeah, you'll get this as like the latest kind of Doomstack that you can get. It is a bit on the expensive side, but at the same time, it's not really a problem for Khorne, since as long as you're fighting a lot of battles, you will generate that money, no problem. Generating skulls, generating more blood hosts, all of that's going to work in your favor, so it's just not going to be an issue. Another thing is their inability to heal. So I don't think there's anything that we can do to give them Gore Feast. I don't think it's in their tech tree. I'm just not entirely sure. We can have a quick look, but I don't think it's there. Just got to check to... Okay, that would be under the monsters section. Let me just check. You could get the Blood Feasting banner, but that would only apply to one of them. So, you could get... That's for melee attack for the Slaughter Brute, but not for the ward save there. So that'll give them extra speed and extra weapon strength. Nothing. Nothing from that. Yeah, so you can increase their stats a little bit, especially with the speed, I guess. That's pretty good. But nothing too spectacular that's going to make any difference. The big thing here that would help this Doomstack out is getting extra regeneration. I don't think there's any lords that can provide them with regeneration. If you want to give them regen, basically you got to steal a hero from another faction that's either got life magic, Nurgle magic, or some sort of area effect. Like if you stole Eckold Hellbrass, for example, and have him just stand by them, that would provide just a gigantic boost. So that would actually be a high priority for them. Another thing that you could potentially do is steal. I mean, Khorne's not really great at stealing heroes, since you need to get an alliance, and alliances aren't really Khorne's thing. But if you stole Gorich boosts monster units regardless of what they are, so that would be able to provide a good boost, and also he provides a good boost in an area of effect. So that would be a hero that you could put into the army to make it better if you wanted to, but you don't really need to. I mean, that was 3 full stacks of mid-ish game, mid to late game Chaos Dwarves, and we handled that pretty well without a lot of, like, it was a low level lord, without the technologies being done. Like, this could be boosted a lot further. So in terms of rating it, I'd probably give this a 9 out of 10, just because 10 out of 10s are really reserved for the armies that basically can't be beaten, and this is just not one of those armies. If they had sent 4 better stacks, then this army could have been wiped out. Comparing it to the Thunder Tusk Doomstack, I do think that Thunder Tusks are better. They've got more versatility, and the ogres are able to heal them. While a Thunder Tusk would probably lose to a Slaughter Brute in a one-on-one duel, a Thunder Tusk would simply be able to outrun it and outshoot it, because there's no way that even with the technology that a Slaughter Brute is going to be able to catch up to a Thunder Tusk if it just decides that it doesn't want to engage with you. That being said, Doomstack versus Doomstack battles are just not going to happen when you're playing against the AI. It's extraordinarily rare, at least. So preparing for a rating based on situations that have no chance of occurring is stupid. So prepare for, basically I rate these armies based on the armies you're likely to go up against. I do think the Thunder Tusk army is just straight up better. So 9 out of 10 for this one. It's expensive, takes a little while to recruit it, late game unit, but they're super bloody strong. They just don't get that extra point that they would really need to get the 10 out of 10, because they're unable to heal without doing shenanigans like healing. And that, if they were able to heal, that would give them 10 out of 10, because you'd get essentially 75% extra health out of them, and also allow them to fight a series of battles on the same turn, and just constantly regenerate in each battle. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Let me know in the comments below what you think of this. I mean, this one here was sent in as a disaster battle, so let me know how you think I did with it as well. You can rate my disaster battle. Anyway, that's the end of this one. Appreciate you guys, and we'll see you next time. Later, guys.